We are in the gardens of the Suzaku in Kyoto's Ume Kouji Park. And this park was built in 1994 to commemorate the 1200th anniversary of Kyoto. The gardens themselves are a very modern representation of traditional Japanese garden design. In Japan, the art of gardening is considered a high art, and traditionally the practice was passed from a sensei or a teacher to the apprentice. The gardens at Ume Kouji Park encompass many traditional design concepts applied to a modern landscapes. It includes three elements that are central to Japanese garden design. These are water, whether real or symbolic, stone, and plantings. Japanese garden design reflects the strong connection the people of Japan have with nature, and this relationship guides the use of the three elements in design. For example, water appears as a natural part of the garden's surroundings. This is why we see streams, ponds, and waterfalls, but not fountains. The sensory qualities that water provides in the landscape are integral to the Japanese garden. The sound, the motion, the flickering of light on its surface. But also important is the visual space provided by a sheet of water, or in a dry landscape by the raked expanse of gravel. Stones are used functionally to create paths, walls, or bridges, and are also used symbolically to represent land or mountains. To create the imagery of mountains, large boulders are often set at sharp angles so that they seem to be erupting from the earth. Smaller stones are commonly placed in odd numbers and in groups that reflect a triangular shape, again representing mountains. The most common grouping is called sanzan, which is a group of three rocks that together create a focal point in the garden. Rocks may also be used as religious imagery in the landscape, where certain rocks are believed to contain a spirit or a supernatural power. But rocks are also used simply for their sculptural beauty. Plant material, of course, is very important. And in Japanese designs, preference is given to subtle green tones and much less emphasis is placed on flowers. We do find seasonal bursts of color, such as the cherry blossoms and fruits, or when the azaleas and irises are in bloom. The variety of plants used in older Japanese landscapes was fairly narrow, and that was influenced by Zen principles of simplicity. Today we see a broader plant palette emerging. The gardens here at Ume Kouji Park bring these three elements together in beautiful harmony. They also represent a wide variety of traditional garden styles. So here we have, for example, a landscape garden. And a landscape garden is designed to either recreate a famous scene from the landscape or just represent what we might commonly see in the countryside, such as the rolling hills with a stream, and in the foreground here we have a rice paddy, which is very common to see throughout the countryside. Another style of garden that we have here is the strolling garden, and these gardens were designed to be enjoyed while moving through the landscape, so they incorporate a lot of paths and tight spaces. And finally, we have a magnificent viewing garden, and this is reminiscent of the ponds and islands that we see outside of many temples and shrines, but this one has a much more modern twist to it.